had it on bottles and tables, which you're not supposed to do. So I called the man, the owner was there. I said, hey, man, they can't do this. I didn't tell him who. Yes. But then after he got a little hostile and thing, I said, well, let me just tell you something. I got a tip off that these people don't think. So it's up to you. Either respect the law, or when you get into trouble,
don't call me.
Don't call us.
That's right.
Well, he didn't stop. And again, the deputy sheriff called me. And later I'm going to talk about this issue of race. He's Hindu, Guyanese, but he left Guyana years ago. He's not influenced by race or anything. If there's any, thing, I really don't think he's influenced by race. He's just a professional. Willing to cut you some slack. He wouldn't lock you up first round. But the guy called me up. He said, no, this is it. I'm Indo Guyanese, and this guy is not Indo Guyanese, and I targeted him. But the man showed me a list of bars that he shut down. They had nothing to do with race, including some Indo Guyanese owned bars and so on in the past. So he said, I really can't. And this bar owner used to support the Guyanese community, yeah? And he knew that. So he said, look, this guy gives back to the community. Right? But he can't break the law because he gives back to the community.
That's right.
Well, he didn't listen. He, felt he was above the law. And so, when he called me 3 o'clock one morning from the prison, I had to say, Babu, there's nothing I could do for you. I told you so. And it was a Saturday night. So you had to spend Saturday night, Sunday night, before you began a hearing. Monday morning. He asked if I can talk to, the name of the guy was, deputy sheriff at the time was Pamal. He said, man, talk to your partner Pamal and see if you can. I said, no man, Pamal got you enough slap. I can't go back to Pamal and ask him.
He's fairly warm.
He's fairly warm. So I'm saying that, and I know I'm going on too long, we got to get to eating and drinking, but it's important to know these kind of things. I think it's important for you to know these kind of things because you can't expect your chamber, you can't expect your embassies, you can't expect even your friends in law enforcement and in political office.
That's right.
Because you vote for them, you can do anything and get away with it. Because you contribute to the campaign, you can call them up and expect them to do what you want them to do. No, I think it is important that we respect the law.
That's right.
There's no two ways about it.
That's right.
Because when we don't respect the law, then it's when we deem to be in discipline and rules and this and that, and then one person's thing stays in the community.
Yes.
So I thought I would, now quite often our businesses are targeted unjustly by law enforcement agencies, and I mentioned some examples with the mosquito coil and thing, and in those cases, we get involved and advocate. Sometimes you really got to be careful. There's a Guyanese owned supermarket, very large supermarket in Orlando, Florida, that imported, it's always Guyanese owned, the name is Caribbean, it's of the Caribbean. Okay, big 32,000 square foot facility. Big, it can rival any Publix and so on. They buy out of Trinidad a soda called Chubby. Now, Chubby makes 2 sodas and they label it differently. That for export has all the FDA information in the back, how much calories, how much this, how much that, how much the other. And the one that made for local consumption don't have that. Now this guy orders 5 containers not from Chubby directly, but from some contact in Trinidad. And the man selling 2 containers with the right thing and 3 with the wrong thing, with the local thing. So the customs, just doing a routine check, they and the FDA. You check one container, okay, that's right. Check the other one, not the same thing, and then they start to go through. And they find out that 3 containers didn't meet the standards. That's why our CARICOM thing is sometimes very necessary. The director of customs is a Jamaican American at the time. And we used to always invite him to stuff, and when we have seminars, we invite him to speak, so we were able to call him up. And the first thing was that, listen, this thing is a mistake we made at the table. He says, Wesley, no problem. If the production is the same, it's just the labeling, what I can do is relabel it here. Set up the right labels, and, you know, the law provides you to relabel it as LP. Then once you relabel it, we release it. Well, found out not only that the three things were wrongly labeled, but the three containers contained juice that was not made by Chubby. Okay? So when they did the test, right, it had all kinds of ingredients that were not supposed to be in there and was not the right thing. So I don't know whether the owner was part of the deal and was just trying to think, or if the man in Trinidad gave him a 6 or 9. I would use another word if ladies would here. But, right? So he just had to dump. They didn't charge him, but he just had to dump the three containers of these unauthorized chubby chubby sodas. Chubby heard of it, the way manufacturers heard of the story, because as long as we contacted them. And when the investigation was done, Chubby said, we never export none. Not even the two are going to be in it. We didn't export ourselves. So what this man did was buy it locally. Right? Well, buy two locally. And then do your own concoction with the three. Right? With the 3 other containers. And so they, and this is just I can tell you a whole lot more stories. You know, and that's why it's important that you be part of a chamber, you be part of something. Not only for that reason. There are other reasons about keeping abreast of what's happening.
Yes, and legitimacy.
And and that kind of thing, learning of business opportunities and so on. Sometimes you don't have the time to go through and look for stuff and so on, but then if that information comes to you as part of a memory chamber, it might, wake you up a little bit. This is something I could, I can probably benefit from. I could either supply the product or I could supply the service or something. It is useful. So those are, those are the kinds of reasons you ought to be part of this chamber. The Guyanese American Chamber, why join the chamber? Well, I've spoken about that already, no need to go that over. The way forward. Well, I encourage you to join the chamber. I think it's a good investment. Our fees are very affordable, and I think you get value for money. The GACC is here to work with other Guyanese organizations. I want to stress that. We are here to work with other Guyanese organizations, regional and international chambers, and related organizations to protect and advance the interests of our business communities. We are not here to compete with or replace any organization. I want to make that quite clear. Right? We are about working with the people. We don't want to replace anybody. Neither do we want to compete with anybody. As Guyanese, and this is important because I think we have allowed both the politics here and the politics home to affect us and to restrict us from really benefiting the way we can and to the extent we could. We must not allow our political, cultural, religious, ethnic, and any other difference to divide us. I think we must work together. The challenges of the time require that we lift up rather than tear down each other. I think that is very key, both here, in terms of our relations here, and back home. We are professional people. We will have our preferences for political parties, or for political candidates. We might even support those who don't like immigrants here. Look, I'm not going to tell you everything, but I say even a candidate that says he sent you back home, if you and put up a wall, if you choose to support him, that's your democratic right.
Yes,
Right? So, but I don't think that we should allow these differences to affect us. As a matter of fact, I think we can overcome those differences.
yes.
And the ethnic side, when you're cut, it's same blood. We might look different, but there's so much more similarities than differences. And I think we should always bear that in mind and work together, regardless of ethnicity, color, skin, kind of hair, and I would even add to that sexual preferences. If people, once they don't bring it to you, if you don't like it, but if they keep it among themselves, even that same-sex marriage, if they like it, so be it. I don't think you should discriminate against people for any of that, provided they don't try to influence you or your children or anybody into the direction. So like I said, we will work with you together to build bridges to other CARICOM, American organizations, and to the wider community. We need to make sure that we develop relationships. I see Congressman Green. Green has an office here. I think the chamber certainly will be reaching out to him. As a matter of fact, I am the chair this year. I was last year, and I don't know why they asked me again, but I'm going to do it for the Caribbean American Heritage Month celebrations in Washington in June. The only reason I'm doing it is that we expect President Obama himself to participate this year, since it's last year, which never come. Eric Holder was the one that always, because we had a White House briefing, part of the thing each year is a White House briefing, and Eric Holder used to do it last year. They sent the Secretary of Homeland Security, Jay Johnson, but this year we're hoping that President Obama himself will do the White House briefing. We're having a whole day of discussions on all these issues on Capitol Hill on the 23rd of June. I'm going to ask Mr. Omar to circulate some information on that. Participation in these events are free. The only money you require to spend is for the lunches and breakfasts. But it's 3 full days of discussion, and one with key members of Congress on the Hill. We've invited the Prime Minister of Belize, who's the current chairman of CARICOM, to be the guest speaker at the lunch. And then that evening on the Hill, we'll have a reception. And at that reception, we hope to relaunch what is called the Friends of the Caribbean in Congress. Years ago, there was a bipartisan group of Congress people called the Friends of the Caribbean in Congress. In the last 10, 15 years, it waned. We've worked with Congress people on both sides of the aisle. Our Jamaican American Yvette Clark out of New York, Congressman Green, and chairman of the Black Caucus, and some other congressmen on the Democratic side. We've been able to get two Republicans to thing. One is Congressman Posey, and the other one is Elena Ross Lichtenstein, who's a Cuban American, who finally, I think, has come to grips with the reality that the Caribbean is important, and so she's part of that effort, and we hope to relaunch the Friends of the Caribbean in Congress in June. As an example of working together, I'd just like to. One second. Okay. We go to slide 2. Okay, this is a press release that was issued, I think the date is in there, but it's just on Monday, where we got Representative Engel, who's a Democrat from New York, and they introduced the bill, HR 4939, to prioritize the U.S.-Caribbean relationship. The bill will require the Secretary of State and the Administrator of U.S. Aid to submit to Congress a multi-year strategy focused on outreach to the countries of the Caribbean and diaspora communities. Okay, so we are included. Okay, and I'll just leave it for a few minutes for you to read it for yourselves. I don't need to read it unless you want me to. You can. That's okay? I can move on?
It's online.
Pardon?
It's online.
It's online. Okay, yeah, and the next slide. Okay, and the legislation requires that the State Department and USA do a number of things. Identify agency efforts to prioritize U.S. policy towards the Caribbean, outline an approach to broaden outreach to the Caribbean diaspora community in the United States, outline an approach to partner with governments of the Caribbean region to improve citizen security and reduce drug trafficking, establish a competitive multi-year strategy to improve energy security and increase access to diverse, reliable, affordable, and sustainable power. And as you know, the CARICOM heads, including President Granger, will be meeting next week in Washington, D.C. with Vice President Biden on the whole issue of energy and security issues. Outline an approach to improve diplomatic engagement with governments of the Caribbean, develop an approach to assisting Caribbean countries in the diversification of their economies. And, well, you can find this online. But again, this emerged as a result of hard and sustained lobbying efforts for there to be recognition and more engagement with the Caribbean diaspora. Just on the 22nd of this, no, on the 16th of this month, on the 17th, we had a meeting with the State Department, the Deputy Assistant Secretary. We had some Caribbean leaders, a group of Caribbean American diaspora leaders. We were invited to discuss at length the U.S. Position on its relations with CARICOM and with the Caribbean communities across the United States. And we expect to see a lot more engagement. And as a matter of fact, when the Secretary of State holds his next diaspora conference, I hope that we'll see some of you